All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's showtime like Kareem Lakers. I make a masterpiece, scene basic. No Meek Millie, but I'm dream chasing. Took the shortcut like Anita Baker. I want the bright lights that you see in Vegas. I need a big house with like 3 basements. Drop an M on the whip, think I'm speed racing. Don't know if it's the Transformer or the Green Ranger. My nigga Mac got the beat banging. Young nigga selling crack as a teenager. Had fiends playing baseball out here free basing. Had me showing off the rings like a Freemason. My mama gone, but I keep pacing. Trying to keep it all together like I need braces. Family calling when they need favors. When I was broke, they was acting like complete strangers. All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Rest in peace, the Nippy was the street savior. Got my credit right now, I need acres. Gotta turn your dirty money into clean paper. Trying to own a franchise without a key player. I go through hoes like I weave laces. Tree blazers, let they mama noodles be flavored. Meat takers that be acting like the sacred. You bust in, you would think they on their knees praying. Then I slide like a screensaver. When I'm done, make some scrambled eggs, cheese bacon. Then it's on to the next, I ain't a speed dater. Little bitch ain't gon' hear from me till weeks later. I don't see no things changing. Kids still dodging bullets like they seen Matrix. These young niggas really need saving, but OGs won't teach them that the street's dangerous. All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby.
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? My boxing family out there, y'all already know the vibes, man. CamJNetwork back with another movie for y'all. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Sorry but not sorry. Boxing Talk Wednesdays, man. Y'all already know the vibes, but this one a special one, man, for sure, man. You know what I mean? And y'all already know the vibes, what we here for. You know what I'm saying? My brother Kenneth Bouhairie, PBC director and founder of Box Africa, will be in the building shortly, a little bit after 7. So beforehand, you know, we're going to get into some updates, a couple of little topics before he come in the building and shit, you know what I mean, for sure. And myself, you already know I gotta, check out the family, man. Check out the family who all in the building so far, man. So yeah, I see my brother A Saucer early in the afternoon. He said, man, we gotta ask some real questions, man, for sure, man. Salute to my brother A Saucer, man. Definitely, man, day one supporter, man. Definitely always showing mad love to the channel, man, and me for sure, man. Definitely salute to my brother A Saucer, man, for sure, man. And salute to my sister, Miss Joanne. You already know. Salute to my sister, man. How you doing, sis? Hope you having a great Wednesday so far, for sure. You already know the vibes. And salute to my brother Omega Red, man. Salute to my dog, man. Salute, brother. Hope you doing good today, my dog, for sure, man. And my brother Opulent in the building, man. Opulent, man. How you doing, my brother? What's good, man? Much blessings to you, brother. You already know the vibes, man. And family, man. My brother Bean, Ringwall Boxing Podcast in the building. Hey, make sure y'all subscribe to my brother Ringwall Boxing Podcast, man. My brother. live every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Always cooking up on the boxing, man. And, he getting a little bit more active throughout the week, you know what I'm saying? Doing a few little pop-up lives and stuff on his channel and everything. So make sure y'all subscribe to my brother, man, for sure, man. Definitely working over there for sure, man. And let me see who else in the building from there. And that's it right now. So let's go and get into some of these topics though. Before we get started. And my brother SBG Mello in the building, man. Salute to my brother SBG Mello in the building, man. Salute, brother. Salute, brother. So, all right, so I'm gonna get into few light topics before Kenneth come in the building right now. He said he was gonna be running a little bit, behind. So he'll be here a little bit after 7 p.m. Assuming. So beforehand, we're gonna get into a few little topics beforehand, man. Going into some shit. And let's go ahead and get with the hot breaking news that just hit pretty much with boxing just now. So right here you got Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are finalizing a deal for a heavyweight fight on Netflix in December in Miami. Sources tell Rings magazine Mike Capiture. So they told this report right here just came out recently, the past hour or two, about Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul right here. But not so fast. The man Eddie Hearn got something to say about this Anthony Joshua fight with Jake Paul right here. I'm gonna play the clip of
I've
it.
spoken to Nikisa a few times on it. I mean, there's nothing to report to you that it's close or, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. Of course, AJ is exclusive to DAZN. We also work very closely with His Excellency, and although we have no contract with him, we're in talks for big fights next year. Of course, Tyson Fury being one of them. So we'd definitely give him the respect of making sure that he was aware of the plan and, part of that plan as well. But at the moment, there's nothing major to report on that. Would we take the fight? Absolutely. I think Jake would be. I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signs to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, so it would be huge, but nothing, to tell you it's close, just a few conversations so far.
So there you have it right there with Mr. Eddie Hearn speaking about Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. He said it's nothing concrete or finalized. He said it's just talks. He said it's a lot of hurdles to hop over in the whole negotiations within this fight. Well, he said, yeah, they'll definitely take the fight, whatever, but they have Tyson Fury in their sights right now. You know what I'm saying? That's the fight that, they definitely looking to have in 2026. And, from, talks with Eddie Hearn in recent time, and he been a guy that's been on record, they was talking about Anthony Joshua possibly fighting in Ghana, in December or January. But obviously he's not talking about that so much now. Is they do plan to have Anthony Joshua have a fight before he gets into a bigger fight, which is I'm assuming that may be the plan for possibly Tyson Fury, even though Tyson Fury keep pump faking, talking about he retired and everything. Tyson Fury's not retired. That man's going to come back to fight. Is the only question about Tyson Fury is who is he going to come back and fight? That's the question. That's the question that you got to ask yourself on that. You feel me? So Anthony Joshua, Jay Paul, not 100% locked in from what Eddie Hearn just explained just now. But you know who the report came from? It came from Mike Carpenter. Mike Carpenter, my bad. Came from him. So You know what I mean? He the one that spreaded this rumor out of the gate, and the whole boxing world is running content on this. So I wanted to give a little update in depth about it. You know what I'm saying? And give an immediate answer off the shit, pretty much from Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn he pretty much said that it's a lot of hurdles to jump through to get through, finalizing this deal for this fight in particular right now. But hey, it may still happen though, so we'll definitely stay intrigued and see what happens with the fight in particular. And and in other news that was reported the other day. Kristen and Billy versus Jaime McGear is in negotiations right now. Now, kind of crazy, man. I was thinking about this fight the other day. Like when I seen this yesterday, I was like, damn, Kristen and Billy, he was ordered to fight Lester Martinez in a rematch. But obviously you see Jaime McGear, he's in play to get a fight with Christian and Billy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe top rank. They looking at Jaime. Well, I forgot Jaime McGear, he top ranked too. So shit, both of them guys is top ranked guys. I forgot. Yeah, Jaime McGear's with top rank as well. So shit. I mean, it makes sense for us the in-house fighting in particular. You know what I'm saying? And Christian and Billy, Lester Martinez was a banger. I really wanted to see that rematch for real, but then I just seen an interview. I forgot who it was with though in particular. I just seen somebody speak. Matter of fact, it was somebody on Lester's team speaking of, no, matter of fact, no. I seen Paulie Malignaggi talking about this, about Kristen and Billy and Lester Martinez, where he was saying that, you know, they can both take a fight or two and then build a bigger match for us, Kristen and Billy and Lester Martinez in particular. And I was like, yeah, but it's like they just fought, and it's like and the WBC, they ordered the fight. It's like shit, we want to see that shit now. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see Christian and Billy versus Lester Martinez now. Me personally, I believe in Billy would probably beat Jaime McGear. You know what I mean? But, you never know in the sport of boxing with certain, cases. If I had to give a percentage, I have in Billy like maybe 60-40 maybe right now. 58-42. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it. I got him Billy winning the fight with Jaime McGear. But I would have rather seen him fight Les Martinez right now, like in my opinion. That's just me personally in general. You know what I mean? And we can get to some other news real quick. Right here. So other news. You got David Morrell switching trainers, of course. He's now working with Ismail Salas, the same trainer that works with Rolly Romero right now. You know what I mean? So, of course, David Morrell got a fight coming up. He's fighting, is Dr. Smith? Yeah. No, it ain't Dr. Smith. Oh, no, he's fighting Colin Wash. So, he's fighting Colin Wash coming up, and, who definitely ducked my man David Benavidez, but that's a whole nother story. And he's fighting David Morrell. So David Morrell switching trainers with Ismail Salas. Ismail Salas, he's been tuning up Rolly Romero in recent time and stuff, been tuning up his game. So it's an interesting situation to see David Morrell with Ismail Salas right here. You know what I mean? So we'll definitely stay close into the situation with that. And I'll move forward. Salute to my brother Big Block. I see you in the building, my brother. Salute, brother. Salute, brother. Salute. And Miss Joette, she said, so basically just more lies from Jake's camp. hey, hey, you reading the room right, sister. All right, so another report today right here with Bruno Saras, the guy that Jaime McGill just fought. He in negotiations to fight. Uh, I ain't gonna pronounce his name, but Iglesias though. This fight is at 168, and Iglesias is definitely one of the top contenders in the 168-pound division. Definitely top five in like 2 or 3 sanctioned bodies right now, and I want to see it, man. They definitely trying to give Iglesias some good looks right there, and move him up more in the rankings. So I'm definitely intrigued to see this fight in particular. And Iglesias, he's dangerous, very dangerous, man. So this is a fight where it looked like Iglesias fuck around and mop the floor with Bruno Saraz, and it make Jaime McGill look bad in the case. You know what I mean? So definitely interested in that fight as well, right there. And of course, let's go ahead and get into this week. Y'all already know this week, Rafael Espinosa, he fighting this Saturday. Um, and the card is definitely lit. The card is definitely lit, a little decent up there. So this is the card for Rafael Espinosa fighting in Mexico this weekend, and the card is going to be on. Of course, it's the top ranked card. It's going to be on any of your smartphone apps for us like Roku, Tubi, Vizio, Pluto, all of that, which is, you can go watch the fights on Tubi. So I know people was clowning this shit, talking about, oh, Top Rank they having they fights on Tubi. Hey, I ain't got no problem with the fights on Tubi. Hey, the fights is free. Shit, they ain't charging motherfucking fights like they about to charge pay-per-view this weekend for Conor Ben and Chris Eubank Jr. too. You feel me? So this fight card is definitely free this Saturday. And see, you see Emiliano Vargas, the young prospect, fighting at 140 pounds. He's on the card, fighting in Mexico, getting him a good look out there in Mexico. You see Richard Torres Jr. He's on the card as well. The prospect, the heavyweight prospect that's been doing his thing, contending up there in the heavyweight division. So you got this card right here with Rafael Espinosa, man. One of my favorite fighters personally in boxing right now. I think he's the best fighter personally at 126, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, ain't trying to unify up there with my boy Espinosa, man. And I wonder how long Rafael Espinosa gonna stay at this weight at 126, man. Because that's a big dude, man, for real, no cap, man. He gonna have to hit that 130, you know what I'm saying, coming soon for sure. You feel me? Like 126, he a big dude to be at 126, and tall, rangy, and everything. I see exactly why a lot of fighters is definitely nervous and fighting Rafael Espinosa at 126 for sure. Like the man is definitely dangerous as hell. You feel me? So definitely. Let me check who else in the building. I see some more people coming in the building. And salute to my brother Rick Towns. What's good with you, dog? H Town baby, what's popping, man? What's popping? And let me salute to my dog Dragon in the building. Salute to my dog Dragon. What's good, brother? How you feeling, brother? How you feeling? Hope you feeling well, man. You already know. And my boy Sheldon Moore in the building, man. He talking about Torres is trash. This man Sheldon Moore always saying somebody trash, man. Hey, I was listening to you, Sheldon, on B3 channel the other day. You was in here. I forgot who you was saying. You was saying somebody was trash. You said like 2, 3 dudes was trash. And that one live, Chef Moore, he said like 2, 3 fighters was trash out the gate. And salute to my brother D1 in the building, man. Angry White Man Boxing Podcast. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Y'all already know. And make sure y'all subscribe to my brother Angry White Man Boxing Podcast. D1 and William Old School, man. They live every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern time, man. So definitely y'all tap in with my brothers, man. Angry White Man Boxing Podcast, man. That's family for sure. You feel me? You already know. What the boy Chef West they said? Was I lying? I said, I gotta remember. I don't remember who it was, man. You be saying so many dudes trash, man. I don't even be remembering half of the damn time. All right, man. So let me go ahead and do this real quick. Let me play this little Clipperton real quick, man. Run this little Clipperton. Yeah, boy.
Who? You just got here. Well, what took you so long? Huh? I thought you had got cold feet. I've been looking for you. Well, one thing about Oakland is, yeah, ain't nothing slow. We the first on the block for the cheese, and we're the last motherfuckers to leave. November 22nd.
Hey man, this boy Bill talking about he, he this man talking about he looking for daggone Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Sr. man. And Bill always talk about he always capping. You bro, you know them boys was they already there, man. You doing all of this capping. But here come my dog Brian Norman Sr. right here now. On the cook up, you right?
Right here is a personal message for Devin Haney. Everybody knows it, but don't nobody think about it. For Bill Haney, Devin Haney, we gonna turn him. We gonna smother him. We gonna run from him. We gonna box him. We gonna make him look. We gonna handicap him. This is what I gotta say to y'all. We're gonna do all of that. We're gonna hide in the ring. We're gonna hide outside the ring. You can't hide nowhere. November 22nd, baby. Everybody got a plan until they get hit in the mouth. You ain't turning, you ain't smothering, you ain't running from your ass going to sleep.
But yeah, nasty work right there, bro. Um, the boy Bill Haney, you already know he in the building. He's popping his shit. Now the fight, now that it's getting closer and closer, now you gonna see Bill Haney pop a lot more shit for real. Now you feel me? Like that's what I'm seeing now and play for the show. Hold on, let me do something. Hold on, let me click out and come back in. Let me do something. Hold on. Let me know. Do I sound better now, y'all? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Put a one in the chat if I sound better. Yeah, put a one in the chat and let me know if I sound better, if my audio is better. Okay. Okay. Let me see something real quick. Because the video, when I play on the video was sounding static. StreamYard on that goofy shit today, and this is the wrong time to be on that timing right now.
Right here is a personal message for Devin Haney.
Can't play no videos today. We're going to deal away with the videos. All right, so. All right, we'll deal away with the videos today. But yeah, man, with Bill Haney and obviously the crazy man, daggone Brian Norman Sr. Both of these guys, they definitely been selling this fight for sure. Bill Haney and Devin been popping this shit lately and shit, being in interviews and shit. But Bill Haney been real quiet though. Bill Haney been definitely quiet lately for sure. You said the video plays perfect, D1? Okay, shit. It was staticky on my end, bro. I don't know what's going on. You know, StreamYard, bro, be acting crazy, dog. Real shit. It be pissing me off. And it's pissing me off today. So, yeah, man. I'm I'm definitely waiting. I can't wait for this fight. The fight is fucking next week, man. And it's gonna be here. And nobody ain't gonna be able to run or hide from shit coming up next Saturday. You know what I mean? Live and direct. And the crazy part, the fight for in Saudi Arabia next Saturday is gonna be they're gonna be it's gonna be nighttime here for us in America. Like for us in America, it's gonna be nighttime. Out there in Saudi Arabia, it's going to be like 4 or 5 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be fighting early in the morning while we at nighttime watching it, at nighttime and shit. You know what I mean? So that's a real interesting factor, knowing that this fight definitely is going to be, these guys fighting early in the morning in Saudi Arabia, man. Nasty work. Nasty fucking work, man. Nasty work. Hey, he said, that boy Dragon said, he said, He said, "Is audio cracking?" He's talking about this bad. Hey, hacker better not be hacking this motherfucker, man. Have to kick his ass. Salute to my brother Jay, man. He said, "Yeah, Bill been on hush mode, definitely, bruh. For real, he been quiet. And now he popping out and want to pop some shit a little bit. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Real interesting, bruh. For real, like crazy shit. So, let me switch it up a little bit. All right, so I seen this earlier too pop up right here. Chris Eubank, I guess he was in an interview. He mentioned that he has no plans in making peace with Conor Ben after they rematch. You know what I mean? So of course, you got Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Ben. They fighting this Saturday in the rematch, man. Of course, they had they fight earlier this year where it was a pure classic, in my opinion, one of the best fights this year. I remember I did a whole show a couple months ago where we highlighted the best fights of the first half of 2025. And this was one of the fights that we highlighted for sure. And me in particular, when of course, when we was talking about this fight when it, first got announced, as far as the rematch, I told y'all I wasn't excited about this fight in general. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that I felt like they didn't need to do no rematch for this fight. Like this fight didn't need no rematch for real. You know what I mean? Like Chris Eubank Jr., he killed himself to make weight and that shit. Like, and on top of that, they had a rehydration clause on Chris Eubank Jr. in that last fight. I heard he didn't have a rehydration clause for this fight in particular. But I heard some people like back and forth saying that he did. So I don't know. I'm real curious about that situation, which I need to find that out. Was absolutely true for us if Chris Eubank Jr. is going to be on a rehydration. I heard that he wasn't, but I heard some people saying that he was. So I don't know. I'm real intrigued with that. But me personally, I think with Chris Eubank Jr. I wouldn't have took this fighting at 160, knowing, the fact that you killed yourself to make 160 in that last fight. You know what I mean? And what did you have to gain fighting Conor Ben again? You know what I mean? Besides what the bag, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing, you feel me? Like, I'm trying to understand. Like, Chris Eubank Jr. didn't have nothing to gain by fighting Conor Ben again, man. For sure. And salute to Vacay Bay, man. Salute to you, sister. Salute. You already know the vibe. Salute. Salute. Make sure y'all subscribe to Vacay Bay, man. She cooking up on her content too. And my brother Dank, Father, I see you in the building, my brother. What's good, bro? What's popping? And so yeah, like I said, man, for us this fight in general, man, I really not jacking it, you know what I'm saying, 100%. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely gonna be tapped into it, Saturday. Hopefully it poses as a banger. Of course, Eubank Jr., he's one of them guys that Eubank Jr., one of them guys that, of course, was speaking about, the pain he went through after the fight, saying that, he was hurt for, several days after the fight and everything, you feel me? And you got Conor Ben, of course, fighting at 160. He's a natural 147 pounder, but it just poses for some reason why I got a feeling Conor Ben got a chance to beat Chris Eubank Jr. in this fight. But my difference with this fight with Chris Eubank Jr. is Bomac being in his corner. Bomac being in his corner is very significant to me. Like, it's very significant. Like, I will say that for sure. Bomac being in his corner is very, very significant. So that's one thing I definitely would say. And hold on, let me see. Let me see how this video play, because I did have a little clips from them working out, because they had a media workout. Where is it at? All right.
I bust them back to the B-side. Bang! 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 Bang in your face! Bang! Bang in your jaw! Bang! Bruise to the floor! Bang! When you thought I was done, now I'll punish you for a whole one more! Bang! I guarantee my guy you ain't getting in the door. Somebody's gonna need this. I bust them back to the B-side. Box! 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 Boy, better know. Box! In your kidney, in your box! In your front 2D. Box! quit trying, but denied. I wasn't back to the B-side.
Yeah, man. Let me see some comments real quick. He's said a whole lot of money. I see you, Shelmore. Shelmore. See, now you said Connor being trash. Now you said Connor being trash. Now I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say Connor being trash, but I don't think he all like that in my opinion for real. You know what I mean? Like, and then I got an issue with Connor being on Matchroom and Eddie Hearn not making that man fight that man Boots Ennis, man. You know what I'm saying? He could have fed Connor Ben Boots Ennis. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't want to do it because he ain't want to see Conor Ben get demolished. Eddie Hearn know what the fuck was going on with that shit. You feel me? But yeah, I ain't too crazy about Conor Ben, honestly, myself. You know what I mean? But he's favorable in this fight, though, I will say, with Chris Eubank for us, how everything be going. Salute to my brother, the Cardenas, man. What's good, brother? Hope you feeling well, my dog. Yeah, man. And Drag, what he say? He said Eubank versus Ben is going to be a slugfest. I'll be watching it for entertainment. Yeah, it poses for another slugfest. I see it being a all-out dog fight. Somebody gonna fucking get hurt in this fight. That's one thing I got a real vision. We gonna see some pain and some hurting in this fight for sure, man. I'm there for that. I'm there for all the action. You know what I'm saying? I'm with all of that action. You know what I'm saying? You bring in action pack, I'm with that for sure. Like I'm definitely with that for sure. My brother Dank Father, he said Connor got a chance to knock him out, but I trust Chris with Bomac. Yeah, bro, him with Bomac, like Bomac. I was looking at that video clip. They was training a few days ago, and Bomac was just motivating them, popping his shit, motivating them through the workout and everything. And it's like that extra motivation. Bomac boy, if I was I'm boxing and Bo Mac my trainer and he talking and shit like that, man. It's gonna make me want to run through a wall, man. So I can only imagine, Bud Crawford in these fights for sure having Bo Mac in the corner. Bo Mac is an amazing trainer, man, and that definitely is a big factor in my opinion in the fight with Chris Eubank Jr. because Bo Mac wasn't in his corner in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? So and of course, a lot of people gonna be like, "Oh, well, Bo Mac, he had some fighters that lost some fights." It happens, man. It's boxing, man. It happens. It is what it is. You feel me? All right, so all right, let me pull him on. All right, you good? All right, let me do this. Hold on, let me pull this down. This graphic. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? What's good?
I'm good. What's going on, man?
What's popping, man? How was your day? How your day been?
It's still going. You know?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. For
Yeah.
sure. Definitely, man. I just definitely want to let you know I appreciate you for coming on and for sure, man. And here on our channel, man, for sure, we just want to be able to give, you know, everyone that come on the show that's one of our guests, they flowers and build with them for sure. And I just we interacted with us, with each other a little bit on Twitter and everything. And I show a lot of love with PBC. I always, been a big fan of PBC. Of course, Al Heyman, Ohio. I'm from Ohio, so I always know a lot of love for PBC and a lot of love for the work that you've done within boxing for 20 something years. You know what I mean, because you've been in the game for a long time
Oh,
and been working in this thing, man, and very passionate about the sport. So definitely here just to show you much love as possible for sure, man.
I appreciate it, man. Glad to be on and glad to do this. I know who our supporters are. And the real boxing fans. And I usually don't step out and do things like this. So
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
And just to get people a little bit of familiar that's not familiar 100%. Um my brother Kenneth, man, been doing a lot of great work over the years. Of course, as a director with PBC currently right now, and head of public relations for Premier Boxing and stuff as well. And of course, work with Javante Davis, Canelo Alvarez, Deontay Wilder, Earl Spence. The list of names. A lot of people. A lot of fighters. And he's the founder of BoxingAfrica.com and everything as well. And putting on for boxing out there in Africa in a major way, that's which is very valuable, because we need boxing all over the world, from every country, especially Africa, for
For
sure.
sure.
So just breaking down, give people a little bit of insight, how you got into boxing, as far as starting off as a journalist and everything, and going from there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm a real life fan, so I've been watching the sport since I was 7, 8 years old. My father was a big fan. I loved all sports, but I, you know, I was, compared to my friends, I was just in love with boxing, and so
Right.
went to high school. They used to be like, yo, because I used to, um, my friends in Ghana, when I would write them letters over in Africa, when I'd write them letters, they told me that, like, I would end the letter with like my pound for pound list. They're like, who asked you? Like, we don't care, like, who's pound,
Right.
so so always been a huge fan of the sport. And I worked on Wall Street for 7 years. And even then, while I worked on Wall Street, I would write for little websites here and there, and just out of passion. Really, I wasn't really making much. And at a certain point in my life, I decided I wanted to do something I loved, and I felt if I did that, that I could go far in it. So um, I switched to writing full time, freelancing, but still writing full time. And from there, I wrote a few articles that got some notoriety, and was writing regularly for Boxing News and for Sporting News. Shout out to Andreas Hale, who put me on at Sporting News, and to Tim Smith over at PBC, as well as Kelly Swanson. And But yeah, from that's how I got picked up by PBC, and so here I am today. It's been 5+ years over there. It's been a good ride. Every day I hear that we're falling apart and it's over, but
Man,
my check keeps
man.
clearing. So
Every
yeah,
day. Every day. Like, I see it all over the internet, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all over the place. And I'll just be like, why y'all just keep spreading these crazy rumors, and these guys still continue going strong year by year?
yeah, and I understand. We obviously would like to put on more events than we have the past couple years, but I,
Absolutely.
I tell you what, you hear it so much, and internally there's no such chatter, no such concern, but you hear it too much from outside. You're like, even us, we're like, damn, is there something going on that we don't know about? Because it's ridiculous. But we're real excited about what we've done so far, and what's to come. Starting with December 6th.
Yeah, so let me ask you about how you met Al Heyman, and tell us about how Al Heyman inspired you, into the game and everything in boxing and as well.
I'll tell you a funny story, and I'll leave it at that because I don't want. I know he does. Anyway,
I know, he
the
very
first time,
angry.
I met him was in 2008, I think, or 2006. And we it was at a press conference, and someone back then, PBC didn't exist. It was just Heyman Sports, and it was at a press conference, and someone said someone wants to. I've been doing my writing thing and getting a little notoriety, and they're like, someone wants to meet you. And so I had no idea who or what, this person was. And they led me it was at a press conference. They led me to the back, to a corner, and sitting there on his BlackBerry or some kind of phone was the man. And so the person, brought me over. This is the person, we've been talking about, blah, 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 blah. We sat down, spoke for about 2 minutes. It was very, very brief. Um, and I walked away and didn't know what to make of it. But I'll never forget the person that was with me who made the introduction was like, just so he doesn't say much, but he sees everything. And so that was the beginning of my relationship with him and with the PBC.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And how much he inspired you just over your career in recent time and as well.
Yeah, how can he not? I think that when you look at what he's accomplished, it's just incredible. And you know, he's the reason part of the reason why I got into the game full time, because I remember back in 2014, 2015 when PBC started, I was excited because there was a time in boxing I felt there was a kind of a lull, like 2012, 2013. I was like, man, the game is kind of boring. I'm just gonna. So when PBC started, I liked the idea. I liked what he was doing, but there was such backlash. And, me having a financial background, I looked into it because, all I heard was what we still hear today, like this thing is a fail, it's a flop, it's crumbling, it's going out of business. And so I took a look at the numbers, and the first thing I realized is like whoever's saying this doesn't know what they're talking about, so, and that made me want to delve into it deeper and ask, well, why do they not like this man then?
Right.
It's, if this isn't true. So um I would say that he's inspired me a ton, just seeing what he's done historically, seeing what he's done with his fighters, seeing how fighters respond to him, and um what he's created. And beyond just what he's done too, I think the people that he's hired, excluding me, the people that he's hired is a testament to the type of person that he is. Because when I
Right.
look at the company at every single level, you have really, really high level experience, um, a really high level experienced team. From the PR side, when you talk about Tim Smith, who um, was a longtime reporter. This guy wrote for the New York Times for 10 years. You talk about Kelly Swanson, who's been in the game for so long, from Floyd Mayweather to Bernard Hopkins to Riddick Bowe, on and on and on. And you see that at every single level of the company, and to people whose names probably don't want to get mentioned, you know. And so I think that speaks very, well to him, and the fact that he's been able to put people in place who are really, really good at what they do. And so we don't do a lot of PR in terms of individuals. We don't do a lot of, we don't get out there. We're not on social media that much, outside of me, partly because I have to as PR, but we don't really get out there and do that much. But I can tell you that there are a lot of people in a lot of places that are really good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just starting another question, starting off, how you became founder of Boxing Africa, and talk about Boxing Africa and everything that you have going on in Ghana with all the guys out there in Africa.
Well, we got a lot of things going on in Ghana right now. Salute to the office, and to Legacy Promotions, Sharaf Mahama, and who's the president's son, who's bringing that Dan Aziz fight over to Ghana December 20th.
Right.
Um, and so they have a vested interest in the sport, and this is something I've been waiting to see in that country, because having lived in Ghana for 7 years, and having spent a lot of time out there, was just there earlier this year. Um, and Ghana is a hotbed for boxing. From Nana Konate to Azuma Nelson to Ike Tate to Joshua Clottey to Richard Colmay to Isaac Dogbe. That small country has produced a lot of world champions. So boxing is truly a huge sport out there. And what would my life be? What would any of our lives be if it didn't have meaning? And so I think the important thing for me is to try and give back and do something in Ghana. And so the first thing we did. Is start publicizing events, not just in Ghana, but all over Africa, and,
Right.
and bringing light to the things that are taking place in the sport over there. And then, there are things we're rebranding the company right now. There are other things that we're going to start um, getting into, but I think that was the number one thing. And also helping the writers and the journalists over there, and imparting my experience, and helping them, come over here if they want to. So just trying to be that bridge between Africa and the rest of the world in terms of boxing.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's amazing, definitely, for sure. And of course, we can get into December 6th. Talking about December 6th, man, it was just a fire card,
Appreciate it.
um, fire card from top to bottom right here. And I love the main event, starting off with Pitbull Cruz, of course, Lamont Roach, amazing style class for us, them two guys. And then, of course, the 160-pound unification with Laura and Janet Beck. I can't wait to see that fight. I heard some people the other day that on some of these panels out here on these YouTube streets, they be getting crazy And some people talking about Laura old and he gonna lose to Janet back, and Janet back gonna walk through him, and then some people thinking Laura gonna knock him out and stuff. So it's a lot of great conversation between that fight between Laura and Janet back right now, of course. And the fight that I'm most anticipated about on this card, honestly, is Foden and Foster. Just the back and forth for these two guys been amazing. Like I was just watching Foden early this morning on the last stand with Brian Custer this morning. And no, I was watching Foster, Shockey Foster. Shockey Foster was on there talking crazy, on there, talking this smack. And of course, Jesus Ramos and Shane Mosley Jr., which is I love Jesus Ramos. I'm a big fan of him, and I'm definitely glad to see him back in the ring, definitely fighting for North Interim title in a fight with Shane Mosley Jr., a legacy from Shane Mosley. So definitely an interesting fight. And then even the prelims with Frank Martin, of
Hmm.
course, with Rancis Bartholomew. Frank Martin, one of my favorite fighters in the game. Isaac Lucero, that fight is going to be a real exciting fight with him and Valenzuela Jr. And Luis Nunez. That's going to be a banger as well with Sosa. So, yeah, you can go and speak about the card that we have going on for December 6th, man, in Texas.
We're excited. Get your tickets. I know everybody says that, when you work for a platform, get your tickets. But I'm telling you, for real, get your tickets because somebody actually posted it today. If you don't get them now, they're about to be gone. And
Right.
so we are real excited about the feedback we've gotten about the card. I love the card. To me, this is a bunch of 50-50 fights. And I think that the most important thing to me about this card is the storylines that develop out of this, because if Pitbull Cruz puts on an impressive performance against Lamont Roach, then he's looking at some super fights next year. Now, if Lamont Roach, you know, shows that, hey, what I did in March was no fluke. I'm here, and he shows up and shows out and puts on an impressive performance against Pitbull Cruz, you might be looking at the next American um, boxing star. And there are a lot of names out for both guys. If they win at 140, Frank Martin's on the card. He's a potential opponent. Gary Antoine Russell, Subriel Matias. The list goes on. So Janabek versus Lara, I'm really, really excited about that fight. Lara, I've been watching for years, and he's just a master, but
Right.
this is like his toughest test in a long time. So I'm real curious,
Right.
what he's going to do. And Janabek, I've been hearing so much about him. Shout out to Ezra from Brunch Boxing, because he gets on my nerves talking about Janabek. But,
That's
but
a crazy.
yeah, but
He
but I'm
crazy.
I'm real excited to see what Janabek can do too against the toughest opponent of his career. And of course, Fulton versus Foster is just um, real 50-50. I love that fight. I love the energy we're bringing. I was just talking about it with Cam and Mace, and we were just chopping it up. So there's real excitement for this fight, not just in the boxing world, but outside the boxing world. Gilly's been hyping it up. You see a lot of people talking about it, and it's great to see a fight with an edge. I like that. I
Right.
like spice. I'm a spicy kind of, so
Right.
I like the spice. And then Jesus Ramos is someone who I think is a future star, someone who's really, really good. And I love the fact that he's entering the middleweight division, because I think there are a lot of great fights that can be made there. And you might be looking at the next king of 160. And then,
Yeah.
Frank Martin headlining on the prelims. It's been a long time coming, but I'm real excited about seeing Frank back. About to call him as soon as I get off this thing. And I know he's been in the gym putting in work. He's working with Buddy McGirt now. I
Right.
like the pairing. I'm excited to see what he can do. Isaac Lucero is a fighter I've only seen once. I think he fought, I forgot which card he fought on a few months back, but he was in I think he was either in the opener or the prelims. And
It
he
looks
looks
like he was on the prelims.
yeah, he scored a terrific second round knockout. And I was like, who is this? So I'm curious to see what he can do. Luis Nunez undefeated, another person. I think plus Elijah Garcia is on the card as
Oh
well.
yeah.
I think if you're there in person, you're about to witness a spectacular fight card just from top to bottom. Like I said, the audience, the crowd in there is going to be crazy. I'm looking at the sheet, the seating chart or whatever, and I can tell there's gonna be nuts in there. And and obviously, putting together the solid prelims, and then the Ford card pay-per-view. If you're a fight fan, and I understand fight fans their issue with pay-per-views. Like, I get it. I'm a fight fan. I
Right.
understand, but honestly, this card is worth it. Like, you can't tell me that this card is you're not going to get a good night of boxing if you watch this card. If you still don't want to pay for it, well, then shoot, buy a ticket, because buy a ticket and go see it. Support the sport. Support the sport.
Absolutely.
You know, I think this card absolutely is worth it.
Absolutely. And it's kind of just I know it has to be like tough when you putting like together like a card like this, like action packed from the prelims to the main card. Like, just explain a little bit how how difficult it can be when you putting like these cards together from the prelims and the main card being all action packed, fire action throughout the whole entire night.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a credit to the matchmakers and the promoters. So, shout out to Al Heyman, uh, Luis de Cubas Jr., Tom Brown, and those guys who have they're so imaginative, because there's so many different things that go into making these fights that people don't understand. Well, where's this person ranked? And what sanctioning body? Does this make sense? So where are we going to move them from there? I mean, you literally have to map out so many different things when you're trying to put fights together, and then when you're trying to put cards together. And that's something that we've tried to do for a long time. Is you know my biggest pet peeve is when we announce a fight, and folks like, that's not pay-per-view worthy. I tend to disagree, but at the same time, I'm like, even if you feel that way, can you just wait till the whole card gets announced, or you
Right.
decide, if it's a pay-per-view or if it's not? Because we're not in the business of just doing um, a single fight and that's our pay-per-view. We do our best to deliver a good night of action, and it is very, very, very rare that you walk away from a PBC card the night after and say, man, that was some good boxing tonight. So
Right.
they do an excellent job putting those fights together. And like I said, there's so many different things at play when they're trying to do that. So salute to them. They constantly keep doing it, and I think they hit a home run with this card.
Absolutely. I remember when y'all first came over to Amazon Prime, the first event, when Thurman was supposed to fight Tim Zoo, and then he had to back out due to injury, and then bring it on Fundora. And I remember a lot of people was speculating how how it was going to look for us to production, and how everything was just going to look overall with PBC moving to Amazon Prime. And right out the gate, I remember the card. I remember covering that card tonight, just watching it and at home, watching all the fights. And all the fights was just all action packed, all great, amazing fights from top to bottom. And then the production in Amazon Prime was amazing as well. I was like, that was a great start off with you guys, starting off with Amazon Prime. And
Yeah.
you can speak about the relationship with Amazon Prime. You believe for us. No, of course we get into the fourth. It's the fourth quarter, starting with 2026. I've been hearing that y'all got a lot heating up, cooking up. Y'all building events all the way up until the spring right now. And some people don't believe so, but I believe so because I know how y'all get down.
Well, I mean, they don't got to believe. We're not selling a religion.
Right,
We don't need your belief. We need to produce. We need to, produce, and we
right.
understand that, and that's something that we take very, very seriously, every single person. And so, I think that you have to understand this is really their first foray into big time boxing. Speaking about Prime Video, and so it's a relationship that continues to grow. And so,
I'm lagging a
as,
little bit. There you go.
yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
I get you. Go. You good?
so this is a relationship that continues to grow with them. And so as you see, as the events progress, you see more and more stuff being brought to the fore, and different things that they're beginning to do. And I think people sometimes, like, BBC doesn't have a deal, or people see, what, we're on Prime Video.
Right.
They you guys don't see the numbers. We don't release the numbers. Please don't speak on our behalf. Like, what's good and what's bad and what we're doing and
Right.
what's not, because they might do something that you don't know about. It's just it might seem like a little drop in the ocean, but anything they do is touching 150 million people. So we are excited about the relationship. We're excited about the growth in the relationship, and absolutely, I think next year, I've heard some whispers as well, and so I think next year we're gonna remind people again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just a quick question, just for us. I know right now it's been a big conversation within boxing for us, the Muhammad Ali Revival Act and everything. For us, you got, some people just trying to, get some stuff moved around with the Revival Act. Just your opinion, how do you feel about that in particular, as far as the Muhammad Ali Revival Act that's being talked about right now currently?
Yeah, I think everyone has an opinion on it, and I think it really depends on what your perspective is. As I don't think that people, when I started writing full time, one of the things that I did was read the act, and this was way back about, man, almost 10 years ago. Now, but I read the act, and I read a lot of legal documents related to the act, and so I'm full support of the original Act, the original Muhammad Ali Act. Now, in terms of what they're trying to do here, I really don't know the particulars. I haven't read it, but from what I've heard so far, it sounds very familiar to me, and it sounds like something that they did in another sport that they're trying to implement here. And there's some certain roadblocks, and they want to try and do that. I think there are some positives for certain fighters, and I could see why fighters may jump at it. But to me personally, I think it goes against everything that this country stands on, which is in terms of capitalism, the opportunity to grow. We've seen the fallback and the blowout from UFC and their fighters and how they feel
Absolutely.
about how they're being treated over there. So, and a lot of them are dying to jump to another sport, particularly boxing. So if that's the case, why would we go to that model? Would there be a Floyd Mayweather? Would there be a Canelo Alvarez? With that model, I don't know. They certainly wouldn't get paid as much as they've gotten paid in the sport. So I have a real concern about that, and I have a real concern about the uh, the removal of the sanctioning bodies. And look, I'm not saying that everything that's in boxing is perfect. There's a lot that needs to be fixed.
Right.
A lot that needs to be fixed. But that doesn't mean, we go way left to something that we know ultimately is going to create issues. And so me personally, I don't support what I've heard so far. I'd like to be a little bit more informed on the topic. So the best I can tell you is that I 1,000% support the original Muhammad Ali Act, and with that in mind, why do we need any kind of amendment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's definitely been a big talk, of course, around the whole entire boxing culture for us, the situation. I know some of the boxers haven't been tuned into it so much from hearing conversations with them within interviews and stuff, which is when they ask them, they a lot of them been saying they're not for it as well. Some of the upper echelon boxers that's in the game as well, just far as that particular topic. But for sure, definitely interesting. And I'm along with you. I'm with the original one. I feel like they shouldn't mess with what they trying to do right now in particular. Right now, I don't like it because I don't think it benefits the boxers in the future, in my opinion, from just my research on it. But definitely
Yeah,
interesting topic right there for sure.
sure, sure. Yeah, it's a hot topic right
Absolutely.
now, boxing.
Absolutely. So I seen Manny working back out, man, recent timing and stuff, and then they got this whole got rumors of Manny coming back in January and stuff. How you feel about Manny Pacquiao for us? His fight with Barrios that he just recently had, and as well with him possibly coming back in January, and they got the rumor throwing Floyd name out there.
I don't think that's a rumor. I think there's certainly some legs to that. I don't know
Okay.
if I don't know if that'll happen, but there's certainly some legs to that. So we'll see. And I think Manny's just, stay, if you're always ready, you don't have to get ready, stay
Right.
ready so I don't have to get ready, whatever that saying is. I think that's what he's doing, and he's preparing for. He has options. It's Manny Pacquiao, and I think it's crazy to me because I'll tell you something that he said after the Barrios fight, was like, oh, he said, that was good. That was good. I needed that. I've been away for so long that it was kind of like knocking the rust off, and now I got to get back in the gym. Like now I know what I need to do. And I was like, wow.
It
Uh,
made the boy hungry after the
yeah.
fight.
So, he's don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on Manny because I think he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. And I think though it's interesting to me, Barrios used his height and his length very well in that fight, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for what he did
Right.
in that fight. But I also think like some of the things I saw in there, I was like, if Pacquiao was fighting a shorter opponent, he might have did some serious damage. Those punches that were just coming up short might have did some serious damage to an opponent that was a little shorter and not as rangy as Mario Barrio. So we'll see what he does, what he decides to do. But, he's got options. So we'll see, and so do we. So whether he fights January, February, March, April, whatever he decides to do, we support and we're behind it. We have a great partnership with him, and so just stay tuned.
All right, so just answer a little question real quick. So I know you've been in the game for a long time, of course. So just tell me some of your favorite current boxers that you like currently right now. Just a few of them. That's the name.
Oh, too many. Because the thing is that also in my role, you get to know them as people.
I
And
didn't do the pound for pound stuff because I don't like because the pound for pound is too.
yeah,
That's like favorites. I like the favorites more so.
I would say Deontay Wilder.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, in the ring, outside the ring, everything about the person and the man that he is. I have a great deal of respect for him, and I love where he is right now. He's in a really great place, and what he's done and how he's so low key. He's not out looking for like you don't see him out and about trying to shine or be on social media. He's just living his
Right.
life, and so I respect him as the man.
What you
And
think about his career for us? Like, what's his next moves? Because he just coming off, a knockout win, a few months ago.
yeah, I think I was there in Wichita, and I think they're going to have something nice lined up for him in terms of the heavyweights. I think he's still formidable. I actually enjoyed the performance because I saw the rust. I saw the age a little bit as well, but I saw him doing things that I hadn't seen him do in a long time. And so I think that, I think Deontay Wilder is a dangerous, dangerous man. Like he hits anybody with that right hand, they're going to sleep. So and what I saw in his last fight was him working on the jab, working on the left hook. I saw a lot of really, really good things. So I'm looking forward. I hope he gets a title shot. I hope he gets a big fight. That's all. Give that man. That man deserves that. He's a future Hall of Famer. He had 10 defenses of his title. He was carrying the sport in this country. He gave fight fans so many great memories. Whether you loved him or you hated him, you tuned in. You know what I mean? I remember Anthony Joshua, watching an Anthony Joshua interview around 2018, 2019, where he was like mimicking Wilder. And he may be cooked. I see in the comments he may be cooked, but let's find out. Give that man his chance,
Right.
But I remember Joshua mimicking like something Deontay said in an interview, and I was like, wow, you're a fan. And how could you not be? The incredible amount of memories that he gave us. So I would say Deontay, Gervonta Davis, Errol Spence, Jermell and Jamal, Caleb Plant. There's so many fighters that I'm a big fan of. And to go outside of PBC, because of course everybody who I can name everybody from BBC, but
Right.
everybody who I name, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're biased." So of course, you love them, but I love Jaron Ennis. I love Boots.
Absolutely.
I think he's a special talent. Terrence Crawford is a special talent.
I was reading an article that you did with him. I was on sport news when he was about to fight Serrano.
Many years ago, and I was
Yep.
trying to tell people that he was the one.
Yes, you was saying it a long time ago. I was looking reading. I was like, "That's crazy." That y'all like you was already already prophesizing it out the gate for a long time ago, right when he was coming up as a prospect.
Right, special fight. I love Virgil Ortiz too. I love Virgil. I think Virgil is very underrated.
Absolutely.
Even still after his performance, I think he's underrated. He's got a great boxing IQ. He's sneaky. He's explosive. So I love Virgil Ortiz, Alicia Baumgartner. I'm a big fan of her as well. And then there are a lot of prospects that I'm watching: Scooter Davis, Jamal Hart. A lot of good guys, coming up. So I love the sport in general. Like I love tuning in. I forgot to mention David Benavidez when I mentioned PBC fighter.
Yes.
I love David Benavidez. So I just can't see anybody beating him I'm saying it right now.
Right. How you feel about the fight with him and Yardy coming up next week?
I think it's a dangerous fight because Yardy has got that one punch power, and David has excellent underrated defense, but he's also not afraid to stick his neck out and you know get in the line of
Right.
fire. So I think it's a very dangerous fight. But I just think David is special. David is a special
Definitely.
fighter. So
Definitely. I'm a big fan of David Benavidez. Just, I just love seeing, his work rate and just, how he conducts himself, as a fighter and, in the ring and outside of the ring. So I love David Benavidez and everything he stands for. And that man be standing on business in that ring. And I love it.
I want to just respond to. I see the comment here. There was no $100 million offer that to fight Anthony Joshua. So let's just clear that up right now. I saw that in the comments right now. What the deal was, it was a 3-fight deal that started off with one fight against somebody else, and the other 2 were supposed to be against Anthony Joshua, but they couldn't guarantee that Joshua was actually going to be the next fight. And not only that, but it was a deal offered to Deontay Wilder, but not to Anthony Joshua. So Joshua hadn't agreed to anything. They wouldn't guarantee that Anthony Joshua would be next if he took that 3-fight $100 million deal. They wouldn't guarantee that. And so then it becomes, well, then basically you're just signing me to a 3-fight deal without a guarantee of the fight that I want, because you've got a up and coming platform and you're trying to get an American presence, and who better than Deontay Wilder to do that?
Absolutely.
So that's what happened with that. And if they had been able to guarantee Anthony Joshua, then perhaps we'd be having a different conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's definitely a fact. And just for instance, how you feel about the Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. fight next week as too, for as that card on November 22nd?
I love it, and so I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm a big Brian Norman fan. I support him. I like his temperament and everything. But I am a little concerned for him in this fight. I think that he's kind of walking into I don't want to say a trap, but into the lines then with this fight. I think he's got a lot stacked up against him, and I also think it's a very, very big moment for him. I would have liked for him to have had 1 or 2 fights before this one, and I think that it would have made a huge, huge difference. That's not to discount his chances
Right.
next weekend at all. I still think he has a good shot, but me personally, I would like to see him, get 1 or 2 more fights. Devin, you can say what you want about him, but he's used to the big stage. He's used to the big fights. He has that sort of experience. So we'll see what happens. I can't wait for that fight though. I'm real excited.
Right. Yes, I know. I've been talking about that fight, been covering it since they didn't locked it in, been covering the fight, and it's been a big conversation on the YouTube spaces for sure for us,
Yeah,
that fight in general, this
yeah,
card in general, for us, the two big cards ending out the year, you
yeah.
know, November 22nd and December 6th, both cards. And December 6th, if you ask me personally, I feel like December 6th just top to bottom solid for
Me
sure. I
too.
don't know what the prelims is for November 22nd, but November 22nd is a fire card as well. And it's just good that we got boxing, in a great space for us, 2 great cards in November
Right.
and December, ending out the year in the fourth corner for sure. My bro- he
I
said
completely agree. Yeah, yeah.
my brother Dave Fowler, he said
Oh,
concerned about Norman.
yeah, I just he's the B side, right?
Yeah,
And so you got to move carefully, when you're when you do certain things. I remember um when Tank made that comment about send 2 Ferraris over, to have a
right.
conversation. And he was saying that to say, like, and as he explained, he's like, you're talking as if you're Devin's guy. So, and the way you're approaching me, like, you must not follow the sport. Like, you need to
Right.
show some respect. And so, but the fact that he said Devin's guy has stuck with me to this day. And I don't think that's changed in 2025. So those are the kind of things I would say that I'm concerned about, on top of the fact that Devin is a truly special fighter. He's an elite, great fighter, and has been on the big stage many a times and has fought elite opponents, whether he won or whether he lost, and he's got an undefeated record, Um, but depending on who you ask, but either way, he's been in with top elite guys. So when I say concern, what I'm saying is that I'm a big fan of Brian Norman. I think he's got a great shot, but I would have liked to have seen him get, one more fight in, another, a little step up in before he stepped up to this one.
Facts,
And I hope he
facts,
proves me
facts.
wrong. I hope he proves.
Facts. How you feel about Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes as well?
Yeah, I like that fight.
Abdullah Mason, one of my favorites from Cleveland. I'm from Cincinnati, so of course I'm gonna ask you some AB and Rasheed Warren questions, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But I'm another guy. I'm a big fan of someone else who I heard about long before he was signed to Top Rank or anything like that. And my people out in Ohio were telling me, like, man, this kid is bad. Like,
Right.
you got to snatch this kid up. And so I think he's terrific, and I'm curious to see what he looks like in the ring against Noakes. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good test for him. And
Yeah.
I'm always a little wary of guys who are young, just because I'd like to see, you know, it's one thing, to see a nice car, but I like to drive the nice car. So I want to see him tested a little
Right.
bit. And then see what he's made of. So I think Abdullah Mason has a tough fight ahead of him, especially being as young as he is, because I don't think he's fully grown into his strength and into maturity. And I remember when Lennox Lewis fought Vitaly Klitschko. Now Lennox Lewis was someone who, other than the Rahman fight, really he hadn't been hurt in a fight. Prior to that, it had been only the Oliver McCall fight.
Right.
And I remember when he fought Vitaly Klitschko, he was like, "I'm going to take him into deep waters and drown him." And he said he's not going to be able to take what I give. And they said, "Well, why wouldn't he be able to take what you give?" And he said, "Because he's
Right.
never had to." And so he's not used to it. And sure enough, he busted that man's face, all kind of ways. And folks talk about early stoppage, man. They did Vitaly a favor, because if they let that fight continue, his eyeball would have fallen out, and God knows what else. So I just think with Abdullah, I want to see him continue to get tested, continue to grow, continue to evolve, because he's a special, special talent. And I think he has a very tough test ahead of him in Noakes. And if he does it impressively, more power to the young man.
Absolutely. And just as far as like, because you've been in the game for so long, and definitely been behind the scenes and seeing how a lot of these guys are being built up into championship contention and stars. Just explain to the people the difficulty in the building some of these guys into championship contention and into stars.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because there's no recipe or no one way to
Right.
do it. But if there is, I think we got the sauce over here.
Right. Absolutely.
I think we got something over here. And I think it requires a lot of things, but it's really about the fighter himself. I know that in dealing with these fighters and seeing their aura, and everybody's different in their own way. So it's there are a lot of different things that are required in order to make someone a star, but there are also things that you can't that you absolutely must have. Like someone said a long time ago about becoming rich or making it. They were like, you need a little bit of luck, but you definitely can't do it without hard work. And
Right.
so the in terms of, you have to care. From my perspective, if I'm dealing with a fighter, I'm thinking about, what's his personality? What does he like to eat? What does he do for fun? You know, what does he talk about? What does he say on his social media? What is he posting about? I look at all of those different things, and without giving too much of the game, you know, um, but I do all of that and then I tailor the marketing and the promotion for that fighter, based on those things that I see, and then same thing with the events. So you got to care, you got to have a passion for what you do, and if you have a passion for what you do, then no matter how much work it is, it doesn't feel like work that much,
Right.
and you'll always be coming up with new ideas and new concepts and new ways, and that's what we try to do over here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just talk about my dogs, man. My Ohio brothers, man. Robert Easter, Rasheed Warren, Adrian Bronner, man. I know you got great relationships with those guys. Just tell me your experiences with those guys.
Never had a bad experience with any of them. Rashid, I don't know as well, but
Yeah.
AB
Okay.
and Robert, love those guys. I remember when I at Sporting News going down and spending time with Robert. When he was working with Kevin Cunningham ahead of the Mikey Garcia fight, and seeing the work that he put in, a special talent. Adrian Broner, another one. It's interesting. Adrian Broner is the type of person that will show love to everybody in the room. Whether they're big or
Mhm.
small or rich or poor. Will absolutely show love, have a conversation. I'll never forget the day that when I first joined PBC, and the first big event I did was Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner. And I was geeked, excited. I don't know what to do. I'm sitting there, watching all this stuff, and I'll never forget. When they made the introduction to AB, he was like, "You the new guy, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, you look like the new guy." And I said, a funny dude, man. So I've it's been a joy. I've been to Toledo to watch Robert Easter fight, and salute to the food out there in Toledo. I was pleasantly surprised, and the soul food, and the people, and the fact that people. I remember being in an Uber, and and they're like, the guy was like, "What are you here for?" And I was like, "The fight." And he's like, "Who, Bunny?" And I was like, wow, it's like a community, it's everybody knows everybody, and what's going on. So so I have a great deal of respect for those guys for what they did in terms of pushing the sport forward. In Ohio, pushing the sport forward, what they did for PBC, and what they did for boxing in general.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Earl Spence, man, how you feeling? No, Earl Spence, and the Charlos, the Texas boys. Of course, there's been rumors with the Charlos coming, coming back in action for us. Jamal Charlo in particular with him, and playing
Jamal or Jamal?
with Jamal, possibly with Caleb Plant, possibly the fight that we've been looking for a long time, and then possibly Blanca with Armando Resendez.
Um, those are, until you heard it from us, take it with a grain of salt.
Right,
Um,
absolutely.
because those are all rumors, but those are all really good
Possible.
fights. Yeah, all everything is on the table. I think um, you can mix and match any of those 168 pounders and make excellent fights.
Right.
Errol Spence has not. Um, I have not heard anything definitive as relates to Errol Spence, but he is also not retired. And from what I can see, he looks like he's in tremendous shape. And so
Right.
if he does decide to come back, I get why people are like, oh, he's finished, he's shot. I hear you, and anybody that comes back after 3 years, I'm going to be like, well, do you still have it? That's something. But again, this is someone who we deserve to find that out. His one loss was to one of the greatest fighters to ever lace up a pair of gloves. And Errol probably shouldn't have even been at 147 for that fight. I'm not making excuses at all. I'm
Right.
just saying he shouldn't have been at 147 for that fight. And I think that if anyone is honest with themselves, they can look at the guy they saw in the ring that night, irrespective of what Terrence's performance was, because he was brilliant, as he always is. But you can look at in the ring that night and be like, wait a second, that wasn't, that didn't look like the guy I normally, see in there. You could see it. So I hope he does get together. I absolutely want him back. He's also one of my favorite people in the sport. Just a good dude, and
Right.
also someone else that's not, who treats everyone with respect. And there are a lot of great fights for him at 154 if he decides to come back. You know, and it's going to get real interesting. So stay tuned.
Absolutely. And Fedor and Thurman, so I know that fight got postponed, of course, from that card from October 25th. And I know that I was talking about possibly rescheduling them top of 2026. How you feel about that fight for us, bringing it back top of 2026 as
I think
well?
we'll probably bring it back. I think we'll probably bring it back. I think it's just a matter of finding a home for all these fights and the right dates and putting it
Right.
all together. I think we'll definitely bring that back. Could be a main event again, could be a co-main, but I hope they make it a main event so people can stop acting like the fight was postponed because it was going to do bad or something. I don't know what people.
Yeah, that rumor was crazy.
Yeah,
That
I
was
think they say
crazy.
that all the time. So. Um, but yeah, so definitely we're looking to bring that back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now with the new age for us with boxing and stuff, of course you got a lot of everything is almost streaming platforms now. It's not really the big major outlets for us, the legendary companies, back in boxing and stuff. And now, you guys with Amazon Prime, and then of course you got the zone and stuff. So how do you feel about the transition for us, with the streaming platforms and as well with pay-per-view in this era as well?
I think, it's one of those things where no matter what it is, whether it's streaming, whether it's pay-per-view, I mean, the goal for us is to put on a great event, and put on a
Right.
good night of action. And I think we love the partnership we have with Prime. It's the partnership we wanted, after parting ways with Showtime after what happened over there. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity and things that we are learning, and things they are learning. And just as we continue to grow, um, together. So, I mean, the goal is to try and bring boxing back to a wider audience. So I understand fans' dismay and their concern when it comes to these pay-per-views, but I want to point out to fans that UFC does a pay-per-view every single month, and they seem to have been able to reach a wider audience um, despite doing that. So if it's worth it, like I said, if you don't feel it's worth it, I get it. Everybody has their opinion, but if it's worth it, then support the sport. Support the sport. And goodness, if we haven't shown you guys that it's worth it by now, then we're never going to show you, because no matter what you say at the end of a PBC event, you probably walk away saying, hmm, that was that was good.
Hard
I
night.
really enjoyed it. So if we've done that time and time again, let's then show that support. Show that support. So that's what I can say with respect to that. I mean, someone just said there are no PBC fights worth 89.95. Well, that's your opinion, bro. I can't. The great thing
Opinion.
about pay-per-view is that no one's forcing you, and I think that
Right.
the and there's a balancing act, because the reality is that the majority of boxing Twitter, as much as I love like boxing Twitter and talking to them, is that they represent an extremely tiny portion of the viewing audience. And so what I find most of the time is people are giving advice who don't even support the sport. They stream the pay-per-views, they watch everything illegally. They obviously think it's worth watching, but they're not willing to pay for it. They don't go to the fights, and so but want to tell people within the sport how to run this, how to run,
Right.
you know. And so, a famous rapper, and I'm reading the comments, so I'm doing my best to respond to them as well. No one's asking this, to you to just support it blindly. Like I said, if it's a good event, then show that support, and that's good business. If you think my product is good, then buy it. Don't try to buy it. Don't try to get it for free or haggle with me. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
um, hey, what can we do though?
Right, right, right. And as well, just question for us, the relationship with the other promotional companies. How's the relationship with PBC for us working with some of the other promotional companies, in the game currently. I know a lot of people have been talking about y'all relationships been a little bit stronger with Top Rank in recent time and as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've you saw Puello fight um Sandor Martin earlier in the year. You've got two top ranked champions on this card on December 6th. We've the biggest pay-per-view of the past, goodness, God knows how long, was a partnership with PBC and Golden Boy, and Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. So we have a good relationship, with those guys, all of those platforms. And again, it's about uh, good business. I think that we're in a unique position because we're really the only company that sort of has its own deal outside of the zone, at least in this country. And so I think that works for us in some ways, but works against us in other ways when you're trying to make
Right.
fights with some of these other platforms. So we'll see we'll see what happens in the future, but I hope that there's continued collaboration.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Yeah, well, I ain't gonna hold you up into no so much time, man, for sure, man. Definitely, this was a dope conversation. I appreciate you definitely coming on for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, and hope to have you on again,
Sure.
after December 6th, so we can talk more PVC, business and boxing some more, possibly for sure. And just giving your flowers for everything you've done in the game for
Appreciate
sure.
it.
You definitely been amazing in this game, doing well within the
Thank you.
sport, from journalists, from you being doing all the great work out there in Africa as well with boxing out there, and then along with sport, with the sport here in America with PBC as well. So definitely just appreciate you for your time today for sure, man. Give you
Sure.
your flowers.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. And, God willing, we'll be on again. Maybe, we'll chop it up after December
Absolutely.
6th, and hopefully we'll have some conversations. And yes, I'm open to all topics, whatever. I don't duck topic smoke. So
Right. He don't be ducking no smoke. I
yeah,
done seen my brother on brunch. I done
yeah,
seen him on a few spots
yeah.
off, but he don't be ducking no smoke.
No, no, none whatsoever. So to the dude that said Ortiz versus um Martin is not pay-per-view worthy. I'm going to say this, and you're probably going to come back with something because I'm going to show you the error of what you said. If you've got to go back to a fight that was 4, 5, 6 years ago to make an example of why pay-per-views aren't, then I rest my case. Um, but Tekken Shakur will be discussed some other day. So continue. Um, but God willing, we'll connect again and we can talk about all of these things.
Most definitely, man. Appreciate you for sure. December 6th, y'all already know Pitbull versus Roach in Texas. Y'all already know PBC. They back in action and they still going and they ain't going nowhere. So you
Right.
already know. Salute to you, brother. For
Appreciate you,
sure.
man.
Appreciate you.
For sure. Take care.
For sure. For sure. All right, man. Another great one, man, for sure, man. I apologize. StreamYard acting crazy today. Hey, acting absolutely crazy today. I'm real sorry for real. On this occasion, they started acting like this because StreamYard ain't been acting like this on my behalf in recent times. So I'm real live sorry on it. But overall, amazing interview for sure. And I don't even like to call it interviews. I like to call them conversation. I felt like this was an amazing conversation with my brother Kenneth, man, for sure. And you already know. And we had a great show last night. Another one today, man. I appreciate all of y'all, man, all of my family that came in today and enjoyed this cook up for sure with my brother Kenneth. And a lot of stuff got explained today too as well, man. For us, Earl Spence, like I said the other day, Earl Spence isn't retired. I said this last night on the show. He's not retired. And of course, PVC, they're going to be, very active into 2026, which I mentioned that as well, and that got answered as well. You know what I mean? So we got some good answers, questions and stuff, in particular, man, and for sure. So you already know, love y'all, man. StreamYard, I apologize, man. StreamYard was tweaking today. I'm real sorry about that, for real. I know I'm gonna be licking my wounds about StreamYard today, but it's all good though. But I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I will be live Friday. I'll be back live Friday for sure. I got some crazy content for Friday. I done already started thinking about the content for the show that I'm gonna do Friday, and I'm gonna definitely have one of my guys on Friday for sure, man. So salute to y'all, man. I love y'all. Y'all watch us on the playback. Make sure y'all hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. Y'all can support through super thanks, super chat. You already know the vibes. And we'll be back live Friday. You already know this is another great one. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And we out of here.